Good morning everyone. Just thought I'd talk to you about the new RX100 Mark VI. I knew that would happen, seeing I put on that video yesterday saying I bought this only a day or so ago. This is the version 5. So I thought I'd talk to you about some of the features that were there, and then I also thought I'd talk to you about how I feel about this release and whether I'll be returning my Mark V. So let's switch over just to here, and I just thought I'd take you through this quickly. I'm not going to make this very long at all because it's not released yet, but I just thought I'd talk to you about a couple of things that obviously are the same and a few things that aren't the same if you're looking at it. So it's still a 20.1 megapixel sensor. The main difference too is that it is going to have the 24 to 200 millimeter lens. And that's going from 2.8 to f4.5, and I believe it hits the maximum 4.5 aperture at 100 mil if you're shooting that. So that's a really good focal range if you're dealing with this for travel particularly, so it would be a great travel lens if you wanted to go out and use that zoom, and that's one thing I've found with the other camera, that it's only a 24 to 70 equivalent. So if you did want a larger zoom, basically this is going to be a great camera. The focusing has still got the 315 phase detect points, but I think they've just updated it so it's going to work faster. It's actually going to work, I believe, 2 times faster if you're dealing with IAF than what the Mark V is. So that could be a really good thing. I have set up my Mark V to use eye detection. It's actually really quick. And I think they're talking about now, whereas this, the Mark V is 0.05 seconds to obtain focus, the new one is 0.03. Now, whether you're going to really notice that, I'm not sure. I mean, the focusing actually on the Mark V is really good. So I'm not certain whether you would really notice that difference. You might notice a slight difference with the IAF though, as I have with my A7 III and the A9 against the other cameras that I've used. So if you were dealing with IAF, you might notice a difference from using this new camera. If you're looking down too, still got the 4K video. It's still a 5-minute time limit if you're dealing with 4K. They now have added S-Log3, and you're getting 14 stop dynamic range with using that S-Log3. And they're also saying that there's also the HLG format if you're looking down the bottom that you can use as well. So that's another added feature if you did want to shoot HLG. And that could be a good thing. I haven't got a TV and I haven't been shooting with that format yet. You obviously need a television that will support that, but I suppose it's a good thing if you did want to do it. It gives you more colour and range in your images. So there you go. So the other thing is too that I've noticed that it also had a touch screen, so that's one thing that is a big advantage over having this camera. I mean, it actually looks really quite nice, and I noticed too in the video that they were showing and demonstrating it all, it was actually shot in Melbourne, so that was really interesting. You can see the zoom there is extending out on the zoom, therefore you can get those nice ranges. Yeah, and I thought it was interesting how they'd use Melbourne for all of their release videos. But yeah, I mean, let me know what you think too down below, and I'm going to talk to you about this myself, about, you know, whether I'll be taking mine back or not now, because I thought we could go through all of that together. So for starters, let me just bring up an image I took yesterday. So I just wanted to show you this image that I took yesterday, just so you can sort of see the quality that you're dealing with shooting from this. This was just a quick test that I did, and I'm really happy with the results actually, from considering, you know, it's just a very small point and shoot. It's really quite nice, and I will be talking about this. This was a workshop I attended actually yesterday, and I'll be putting a video up about this, but I grabbed this quick snap there, and really happy with how it actually looks. I think it's you know, it's come up great. So let me talk to you about what I'm going to do. Now, there's a couple of things about this that I thought, oh, I was originally thinking that I would take it back from the initial specs that I saw. They both have the 24 mil, so that's one great aspect of it. So it is really a good focal length for doing, you know, your vlogging. And I've bought this particularly just for vlogging, so I'm going to talk to you about it from my perspective. If you were dealing with it from buying it as a travel lens or going on holidays or whatever, the new lens really, the new camera I would probably get because of that long focal reach, or you know, the 200mm. So that's one thing. But for me personally, I think I'm probably going to keep this because this is a 1.8 lens. Now that matters to me because with anything that have these smaller sensors, low light can be a real problem if you're dealing with shooting in more darker environments and things like that. So having a 1.8 aperture on this camera is probably more beneficial to me than to have the 200. Remember, I'm only talking from a vlogging perspective, and that's why I bought this camera. I just bought this to basically put that screen back towards me and be able to do shooting with it facing me, and you know, just taking it around like I did yesterday when I just showed you that shoot and just grabbing some quick grabs and things like that. So having the 200mm is not really that important to me. It's more important to have the f1.8 f-stop. The other thing too is, and I think this is true because I haven't been able to find it anywhere else, I don't think the new camera has a built-in ND filter. This has a 3-stop ND filter. Now that is important for vlogging because if you did want to maintain your double frames per second, so if this is on 24 frames per second, you'd shoot it at 50 frames per second, you double it. It's great to have an ND filter to bring down your exposure. Now I don't think the new camera has that, so that's another feature for me that could be really important. You know, and I think that might be something that you want to consider too if you're more into vlogging like I am. So I think looking at it, Sony are probably going to offer these as two cameras that will work together, that if you had the money, you may buy both, because if you wanted to go for travel and have that long reach, you could use that 70-200. If you're like me and you just wanted to use this for vlogging, the 24-70 really for me is ample. And I do definitely like the 1.8 aperture, and I also like the built-in NDs. I think that's a great feature. The touchscreen I would have loved to have had though. That's one thing that's missing from this, but I can get by with that as it is. So let me know in your thoughts below, because I'd be really curious to know what you're going to do if you do have the Mark V or even the 4. Whether you are going to upgrade to the Mark VI. It is going to be 1,200 United States dollars, so I suppose in Australian dollar terms it's going to be around 1,500 or so. So yeah, let me know anyway down below what you think about that. That's all for now, guys. That's all I wanted to talk about. Catch you soon. Bye.